So, Carl Jung once said, if man knows more than others, he becomes lonely. You're someone who's deeply immersed in philosophy and way beyond average intelligence. And I imagine in going so deep into metaphysical questions, there is great meaning, but perhaps there's also deep loneliness. Is this true? And if so, how do you balance intellectual pursuit with human connection?
Again, a unique question. The risk is that if I say it's true, it sounds arrogant. It sounds like I think I know better than other people. But to not say it's true would be a lie. And how do I sincerely do not think that I am a member of the Ubermensch species, that I am at the top of the plateau and everybody else is ignorant. I don't think that at all. I am humbled by what you might call peasant wisdom, which is something urbanites don't realize, don't understand, don't see, don't recognize, don't know it exists. But it's profound. It's a wisdom of connection with the earth, connection with the land, connection with nature, with life, moist, warm life, as opposed to the clinical, abstract, sleek life of conceptual reasoning and education and universities and computers. So I'm saying that because I want to convey to you and your audience that in saying that, yes, it's very lonely, I don't mean by that I consider what I know to be unique or better. What I know is what I know, and many people maybe don't know what I know, but they know other things that I don't. We all have our share of the cake. And there are many forms of wisdom that not only I don't have, I envy. And I don't have a problem with that anymore. For a long time I did. I felt a bit of resentment towards nature, that the cards I was handed did not have those things. But today I'm turning 50 now. It's like, you know what? The cards I have been given are the cards I have been given. That's it. There is nothing to stress about this. I have my cards and I play them the best I can. That's all I can do. I'm not going to resent that I don't have certain cards, but I'm keenly aware that I don't have certain very important cards. So with all this disclaimer behind us, when it comes to metaphysics, ontology, it is very lonely, because there are things that, although you're not sure you do know that many people who disagree with you or don't see it do so because they haven't looked deeply enough, that they believe what they believe for the wrong reasons. Because they don't examine their assumptions, or because they have certain kinds of cognitive biases, such as entrenchment, like there are many other cognitive biases. You come to a point where you can use your own personal history, your own errors, your own shortcomings, and you can use that to detect when others are going through the same things. And in my particular specialization, ontology, the nature of reality. I'm not talking about poetry. I'm not talking about art. I'm not talking about earthly wisdom. I'm not talking about enlightenment. I am at the bottom of the pack in all those things. But when it comes to analytic ontology, it is very lonely. Yeah. And for a while, I had a lot of difficulty with it, because you find yourself in a position where nobody can reassure you. And you don't want to be in that position. You don't want to be the person who reassures, but never gets reassurance, because I have my moments of despair too. And then nobody can reassure you. Because, even if you convince yourself that, no, I'm just a monkey, what do I know? You can't avoid but know that these other people that might otherwise reassure you, they just haven't seen certain things yet. They're just biased, or no, So you can't mobilize that emotional commitment to somebody else's reassurance. It becomes impossible. Even if you don't want to believe that, it becomes impossible to receive reassurance from other people when it comes to issues like, what about the meaning of life and death, and the purpose of it all? Then it's very bloody lonely, and it's tough. I maybe I can share more with you so people understand where I'm coming from. My father was my hero. He was the Superman. He died. I was 12 years old, so I never got to see his weaknesses, his failings. For me, he knew everything, and he was all powerful, and he had all the answers. And for me, that gave me tremendous reassurance in my youth. My father was my rock, my safe harbor. It was the oracle, the point of certainty, the absolute reassurance. And then he died. I was 12, and nobody in my family could play that role, not remotely. And so my early years were characterized by this desperate need for external reassurance, which I never found. But always tried to. My first boss was a German called Rudi Bock, a well-known physicist. He died in 2001. He was my father figure. So, you find yourself looking for father figures, for reassurance from the outside. And you don't want to believe that you will never get that it's completely impossible. You want to be people around you who know more, who are more powerful in some way, and therefore can come to your aid. And when you get to a point where you realize that that is never going to happen, the child in me despairs. I never thought that I would ever find myself in the position of giving people metaphysical reassurance. It's like, it blows my mind. I never saw this coming. I never intended this. This was not something I would have come up with. But it happened. Nature did that through me. Now I'm almost 50. I accept that now. It is what it is. I don't get to choose. My life is not about me. My life is about nature. I am a segment of nature. I'm not something separate. So of course it's not about me. So I will express what nature wants to express through me. And if part of that is I have to play the role of a receptacle of projections, then I have to do that. Because if I try to deny that, it works the other way around. And then people really start projecting on you. They start thinking, oh, look how humble he is. He's the real deal. It just backfires, galactically. So I've come to accept that, okay, that's one of the roles I have to play. But it is very lonely to know you cannot get external reassurance. Whatever you get, it has to come from within you.